Jesus says you don't need to fight everything that comes your way. Jesus says right now, something inside you is asking for space, for silence, for protection. Jesus says listen to it. Jesus says you've started noticing things you once ignored. The way certain people leave you feeling heavy. The way some conversations steal your peace. The way noise around you clouds your mind. Jesus says that's not overthinking. Jesus says that's awareness. Jesus says you're changing. Jesus says growth has a cost. It asks you to let go of what no longer feels right. Jesus says not everything deserves your energy. Jesus says not everything deserves a reaction. Jesus says you don't have to explain why you're stepping back. Jesus says you don't have to justify choosing yourself. Jesus says sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Jesus says to stay quiet. Jesus says to observe. Jesus says to walk away without anger. Jesus says peace is not something you find. Jesus says it's something you protect. Jesus says right now, your peace needs protection. Jesus says there will be people who won't understand this version of you. Jesus says people who are used to the old you, the one who gave too much, stayed too long, explained too often. Jesus says, but you're not that person anymore. Jesus says you're learning where to stop. Jesus says where to say no. Jesus says where to pull your energy back. Jesus says not out of ego. Jesus says but out of self-respect. Jesus says every time you give your energy to the wrong place, you take it away from where it truly belongs, your growth, your goals, your future. Jesus says you don't need to be everywhere. Jesus says you don't need to respond to everything. Jesus says you just need to protect what's yours. Jesus says protect your mind from noise. Jesus says protect your heart from exhaustion. Jesus says protect your focus from distraction. Jesus says where your energy goes, your life follows. Jesus says right now your life is asking you to choose wisely. Jesus says if you feel like stepping back. Jesus says if you feel like going quiet. Jesus says if you feel like choosing solitude over chaos. Jesus says don't ignore it. Jesus says that's not weakness. Jesus says that's you, finally choosing yourself.